Welcome to another Chef Knives to Go quick look product review. I'm Steve Gamache, and what we have this time is the Masamoto VG10 Gyuto 1 80mm knife. So this line of knives has been around a long time. Mark has, at Chef Knives to Go, has carried these for quite a few years, and they are just a good, solid, reliable line of knives that are very popular with professionals as well as home users. The steel that they use, they call it hyper molybdenum vanadium steel. They've even got their stuff on the back that says that. But it's just a easy to sharpen steel, about maybe 59 Rockwell in the heat treat. It's fairly tough, so these are kind of forgiving knives that you can, you're not going to beat on them like some Euro knives, but they do a nice job, and they've got a little bit of resilience to them, and like I said, some durability over some of the higher hardness, thinner knives as well with higher hardness steel. So they're very pro-friendly as well as home-friendly. The weight and dimensions should be pretty darn similar from knife to knife. The construction on these is mono steel, so it's just one hunk of steel, probably laser cut and then ground to shape. So no cladding or layers, so it's all full stainless steel. Weight is about 165 grams, or 5.8 ounces. The edge length is right about 185 or 7.3 inches on this one. They should be pretty similar from knife to knife. 303 millimeters overall length, or about just under 12 inches. And then spine thickness, these are typically around 1.8-ish overall, but I got about 1.9 at the back, and then about 1.7 spine thickness halfway down, and not a lot of taper. You start to get a little bit of distal taper, or thins out towards the tip where the grind kind of comes down to the edge, and you can see what the tip looks like. Not super skinny, but thin enough to do a nice job performance-wise. And here is your edge profile. Again, not super skinny at the edge, but they do a nice job. The blade height, they're not tall. It's about 44 millimeters. The handles are just totally like bulletproof. They have this stuff called Duracon, kind of a resin, are known as palm as well. But these are just like super bulletproof handles, and just will take a beating. And so they've got an integrated stainless steel bolster. They've got a full tang construction, stainless steel rivets, nice fit and finish all the way around on that, very smooth. Handles aren't like super small, but they're not huge either, so pretty much will cover a wide variety of hand sizes. Don't have the world's biggest clearance here for your fingers on a pinch grip, or a grip I should say, but you just kind of use proper technique, you'll have clearance on the cutting board. Not the world's thinnest neck up here. So again, handles are just really bulletproof on these. They're fairly heavy. That's a heavy material, kind of a dense material, so the weight is going to, balance point's going to be back here. For me, it's almost where the handle material stops here into the bolster. Sorry, it took me a minute to remember the word bolster. So pinch grip, definitely going to be behind there. It's going to be a little handle heavy for that. Out of the box edge, I'll give it a 6 out of 10. These are pretty nice out of the box edges, and the fit and finish, it's consistently well done on these. Let's get our beauty shot if we can here. It's a little tricky with the lighting, but we'll try our best. We'll go with that. This one's being a pill. There we go. We'll try that. So you've got some screened on kanji on the right side of the blade as you'd be holding it. You can see the vertical finishing marks, fair amount of polish. You can see my fingers on there. The choil and the spine are a little sharp on the corners, so depending on your sensitivity to that, the choil on this is actually, I think, a fairly sharp corners on it, and the spine a little bit, so you may be inclined to tweak that, 10-15 minutes with some strips of sandpaper, putting this in a clamp of some kind, with appropriate padding. Maybe taping the edge up to keep it safe, but you can clean these up quite rapidly. The edges on these tend to be a little bit asymmetrical, so the actual edge bevel is a little bit wider on the right side of the blade than the left side of the blade. So in terms of if you're looking at it this way using it, I would call that a 30-70. Some people would say 70-30 right hand. So to me, that would mean about 70 to 30 ratio out of 100 for how wide the bevel is here versus there. Some people might be sensitive to steering on that if you're a lefty. I generally haven't found it objectionable, but you might get a little bit of steering if you're a lefty. So let's take a look at it. So here is your cutting board profile. They've got a really just versatile profile for this 180 185-ish length that they've got, and they've got a fairly good flat spot towards the back third, maybe just a little bit of rock there, but it's gotten fairly flat. Medium belly, then a little bit more belly towards the tip. So this will rock pretty nicely up to about there. It'll do good in the middle part of the blade, and you've got a little chopping area towards the back. So they've done a lot with that 185 edge length millimeter wise, and pretty versatile. So these are just a classic line of knives, very bulletproof handles, good performers, but solid, as well as kind of a forgiving steel. So again, excellent in a production environment or also in a home kitchen. So these are the Masamoto VG Gyuto 180 millimeter knife.